No one sang here. Not ever. "Will you ever shut up?" snapped one soldier, his unshaven face purple with rage and cold. He swung his rifle towards the prisoners, its bayonet missing one man only by inches. "Let them sing," called out another. "When they see where they're heading, they'll be quiet soon enough. And by the time they see the sun again," called a third, "the bloody pox will have taken their voices anyway." The 4 soldiers laughed. The small squadron trudged further up the hill, the narrowing track forcing the prisoners into 6 shuffling rows of 2. The wildly uneven path, at best nothing more than trampled down gorse, littered with rocks, picked its way across featureless hills, the occasional dilapidated farmstead the only sign of human habitation. Many of the Americans had difficulty walking. Arms had been linked and shoulders grasped. They were poorly dressed for the march and the bone-chilling cold. A few had boots, but the rest slipped and fell in their canvas shoes. A variety of hats were on display, some barely more than a square of tarpaulin tied in place with rope, but one stood out. At the back of the parade, one prisoner sported a 3-cornered felt hat, pulled low over his brow, a few inches of closely cropped blonde hair showing beneath its brim. He looked no more than 16. A tattooed eagle, wings splayed, bill and talons slashing, was just visible above his collar, roughly inked at the base of his skull. He leaned towards his marching companion. "Woman back at the Doss House said it was 15 miles, he said. "And seeing as that feels like at least 30 miles back, it can't be far now, Mr. Roach." He used both hands to steer the older man around a vast, rain-filled pothole. "You sure that's what she said, Mr. Hill?" said his companion. "I didn't understand a goddamn word she said." Joe Hill snorted. "Maybe you weren't listening, Mr. Roach. It's Devonshire talk, that's all. Just Devonshire talk. She thought we were renegade English and that we'd lose the war for certain. That it was right impertinence for America to fight England again. We deserved jail, is what she said." Will Roach spat in the mud, strands of phlegm sticking in the whiskers of his straggly beard. "She knows nothing of our fine Yankee victories, then," he said. "Renegade English? For shame." "Well, I reckon she'll find out soon enough," said Joe. "We have proper American news, Mr. Roach. American news fit for Americans, and there's plenty where we're heading. Might even know some of them." Roach's voice dropped a little, flickers of tiredness and doubt licking at his words. "And you're sure about this, Joe? You're sure about what you heard? Because if we're staying in Dartmoor, we might as well make a run for it now. I'd rather die in one of those frozen ditches than be tortured by some English assworm." Joe put both his hands on the older man's shoulders, his grip firmer than his narrow shoulders suggested. He spoke with all the assurance he could muster. "I heard what I heard, Will," he said. "My ears might have taken a beating these last years, but those words I heard true and clear, so yes, I'm sure. You're the father of the ship now. You should be sure too." He hummed a few more bars, and Roach nodded, momentarily reassured. Joe knew that Roach had always enjoyed hearing him sing, his shanties and songs of home always a welcome part of their life at sea. Since their capture, however, there had been silence. Joe had seen no reason to sing, no reason to dress their despondency with music. But now the tunes came again. Now there was a purpose and a plan. "We mustn't let them English think they've got us beat," he said. "They think this is their triumph, their victory. Well, they've got a surprise coming." Joe didn't smile. It wasn't his way. But any shipmates listening heard his excitement, sensed his buoyant mood. They knew his secret, and it helped to keep the gloom at bay. The fog rolled away, blown by some unfelt zephyr. They had been climbing since first light, but this was no vantage point. Just an endless, rotting brown wasteland. A panorama as bereft and cheerless as a desert. Joe fought against the chills. "If it wasn't for the hallelujah in our hearts, Mr. Roach," he observed, "we might conclude this is the arse end of England." "We might indeed," said Roach, "and looks like we're about to climb right into it." Up ahead, the redcoats conferred, then steered their prisoners from the track towards a steep escarpment.